So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. You're most welcome to these fascinating conferences. Honorable ministers, excellencies, ambassadors, and heads of cooperation, especially the EU delegation present today, the ICA president, dear cooperators, dear friends of cooperatives, you're most welcome to this conference. My name is Kampeta Sayinzoga, and I'll be your Masters of Ceremonies for this opening session. I would like to start the day by acknowledging a few VIP guests that we have with us today, who come from I would say, the different parts of the globe, and most notably, some of our sister and brother African countries. I'd like to acknowledge from Ethiopia, we have His Excellency Umar Hussein. You're most welcome. From Cameroon, we have Her Excellency Madame Ananga. You're most welcome. From Niger, we have His Excellency Mr. Elijah Abuba. From Tanzania, we have Honorable Omeri Mugumba. From South Sudan, we have Honorable Nikwiye. From Sierra Leone, we have the Reverend Abraham James Sese Jones. From Egypt, we have Honorable Dr. Hossam Eldin Risk. And then we are also with a couple of senior government officials from other countries. Let me start with the African ones. We have delegations and senior government officials from Nigeria, from Ivory Coast, from Namibia, from Lesotho, from Kenya, from DRC, and of course we have senior officials from the government of Rwanda. But we also have international guests. So we have government officials from Fiji, South Korea, Dominican Republic, and Kiribati. So as you can see, we have a good diversity of participants, and actually today we have more than 1,000 participants coming from 94 countries. So I think we can be proud of ourselves. So the conference gathering us today is titled Cooperatives for Development. As you know, we'll be here for four days. I hope that you'll enjoy the Rwandan hospitality and our venue, the Kigali Convention Center, which is one of our prime conference venues. And during these 4 days, we hope to share experiences in how cooperatives contribute to sustainable development and celebrate how they contribute to the SDGs. As you know, cooperatives are not just cooperatives, they are a global movement centered on their members, and as we all know, their members are also the citizens of our different countries who have aspirations for better lives. So, The Voice, please, we encourage you during these 4 days to network, to share your experiences, to exchange, and then to use this platform for advocacy, as this is a unique opportunity to shape global policies on social, economic, and environmental development. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce a special message from Ms. Danielle Bass. It will be a video. She's the director of the United Nations Department for Economic and Social Affairs Division for Inclusive and Social Development. Ms. Daniela Bass was appointed as director of this department on May 9th, 2011. She's a politologist specialized in international politics, human rights, and social development. She served as a senior consultant designated by the Italian government as an expert on human rights to different institutes that operate internationally. She has also provided her expertise on anti-discrimination issues at the presidency of the Council of Ministers. So as you will see, she's very knowledgeable about the topic, and she will open the session with a special message. Let us hear the video.
Excellencies and fellow cooperators, let me start by thanking the International Cooperative Alliance and your president, Mr. Ariel Guarco, for giving me this opportunity to address the opening session of your annual meeting. I'm very proud of the good working relationship we have with the ICA in supporting cooperatives worldwide. At the United Nations, member states continue to reaffirm their belief in the transformative power of cooperatives and will, in the coming weeks, adopt another resolution on cooperatives in social development. The UN Secretary General also released his report on cooperatives in social development in July this year. Due to the increased attention on the need for universal health care as critical for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, the Secretary General's report focused especially on the role of cooperatives in providing health care worldwide. as it is appropriate that you are meeting in Kigali, in Rwanda, a country that has shown that with a clear vision and strong political leadership, healthcare can be expanded to cover a wide section of the population. In this report, the Secretary General also considered how cooperatives can help to address other global challenges, particularly the risks associated with climate change and cooperative contributions to the Sustainable Development Goals as well. The recent report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change estimates that global warming will reach 1.5% above pre-industrial levels, sometimes between the year 2030 and the year 2052. And this will have serious implications for poverty eradication and food security. It may lead to more conflict, migration, and increased health challenges. And it is often the most vulnerable people who suffer the greatest impacts from climate change. My division will be working with the ICA and other partners to provide support to cooperatives and governments to enhance their capacities for mitigation and adaptation to climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, across the world, cooperatives promote sustainable development in all three of its dimensions: social, economic, and environmental. They have a significant presence in both developed and developing countries, serving more than 1 billion members or clients. As a group, they employ more than 100 million people worldwide, which is 20% more than the number employed by multinational enterprises. We now need to ensure that cooperative contributions to sustainable development are adequately captured in the data and national statistical systems. A new methodology for capturing this data was agreed to last year by the International Conference of Labor Statisticians. If adopted by countries, the methodology will increase the visibility of the role of cooperatives in sustainable development. The challenge for us, cooperators, is to ensure we are capturing all the data regarding our activities and sharing it through the appropriate channels. The UN stands ready to support cooperatives in this task. Sustainable development in both developed and developing countries can only be enhanced through the success of cooperatives. I'm really looking forward to the outcomes of your deliberations, which I am sure will elevate the role of cooperatives in delivering a brighter future. I wish you a great conference.
You will agree with me that this video sets the tone for 4 days. The reminder of the contribution of cooperatives and the importance of data in capturing their contribution. It is now my great honor to invite the ambassador of the delegation of the EU, European Union to Rwanda, Mr. Nicola Bellomo. Let me give you a little background about the ambassador before we invite him to the stage. The ambassador was appointed as European Union ambassador to Rwanda, I think a little bit over a year ago now. He came to us from the Kingdom of Swaziland. He specialized in international politics of the environment, which must be a very fascinating topic at this particular point of the global discussion around climate change. He's also an expert in international affairs. Mr. Bellomo has served mostly as the head of political, press, and information section of the delegation of the EU at the Africa Union in Addis Ababa as part of the operations section. He's also focused on good governance, human rights, justice, and dialogue between cultures at the delegation of the EU to Egypt. So as you can see, he's traveled the world quite a bit, and he's knowledgeable about many topics that will be directly related to this conference. But I think most importantly, the European Union is a special partner to the cooperative movement, and therefore we invite you on stage for your remarks, sir.
Thank you, Program Director, dear Honorable Minister and Guest of Honor, President of the International Cooperative Alliance, ICA Africa President, dear guests, all protocol observed. The European Union is very proud of this excellent partnership with ICA, and it's a great honor for me to join you today and to give an opening address for this international conference on cooperative and development. I think I'm preaching the converted when I say that what brings us together here in Kigali today is our shared belief in the importance of the cooperative movement as a driver of development. Indeed, the features of cooperatives makes them a powerful vehicle to energize and speed up development. Because of the overall structure of cooperatives, this model has proved to be a reliable, people-centered mechanism which has enabled people around the world to take control of their livelihoods and improve their well-being. Supporting the growth of cooperatives is a worthwhile effort with a guaranteed return on investment. This is because cooperatives empower people in local communities to take charge of their own development, putting people first, putting people before profit. And I'm also proud because Europe, as you all know, is the cradle of the international cooperative movement. And in Europe, cooperatives play a prominent role in forging the European social market economy. And this new model is about embracing economic growth, but combining it with increasing level of welfare. It is about combining economic growth with a generous system of redistribution. Cooperatives are therefore a natural ally and a tool to pursue the EU social market economy and ensuring a high level of well-being and quality of life for our citizens. And the impact of cooperatives is big and impressive. And today, Europe has more than 130,000 cooperatives with more than 4.3 million employees and an annual turnover close to 1 trillion euro. And there are numerous examples of successful cooperatives. Just to mention one, the Crédit Agricole, that has just celebrated 120 years of existence and has transformed access to finance, in particular in rural areas, and with some 7 million members and 30 billion euro of revenues. But also at the global level, there are some 3 million cooperatives worldwide, and they provide employment for more than 280 million people, which represents 10% of the global world employed population. Development cooperation, and in particular our strategic partnership with Africa, is really very high on the European agenda, and it comes with a new vision, a new ambition about this partnership amongst equal, and with a new vision for our international cooperation on the table, which is mainly based on partnership and focus on the sustainability and private sector development. In this context, cooperative can be the core of this new vision by upgrading the social market economy. At the same time, the SDG agenda calls not only for economic and development progress, but also for social and economic innovation worldwide. And there again, in this context, ICA is both a close partner of the European Union and also a beneficiary of support from the European Commission. A framework contract was signed in March 2016, and the priorities of this partnership are to enhance our joint efforts to promote a conducive environment for cooperatives in partner countries and promote a meaningful and structured participation of cooperatives in domestic policies of partner countries, in the EU programming cycle and in international fora. Last but not least, we also aim at increasing the capacity of the cooperatives at local, regional, and global level so they can perform more effectively their role as independent actors. So the European Union encourages cooperatives as key contributors to policy making at national, regional, and global levels, and in particular in the formulation and monitoring of policies and agreements for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. The EU and its member states has always been at the forefront in supporting cooperatives, and in Europe since 2011 we have a social business action plan that helps social enterprises like cooperatives to have access to finance, access to markets, and to make them more visible. The European Union also proactively engages and supports cooperatives across the African continent. Rwanda, in particular, offers a very good example of what has been done over the years in the continent. So here in Rwanda is also thanks to the European Union and our partnership with the government that was created, the Rwanda Cooperative Agency in 2009, and as well as the National Cooperatives Confederation of Rwanda. And also here we continue to deliver concrete and tangible support to a number of cooperatives, to various programs and projects. So we have a long list of success stories in Rwanda, and we are very, very proud of it. What's next? In its cooperation agreement, the European Union and its partners, we are increasingly incorporating joint engagements for sustainable, inclusive economic growth and development, as well as human rights, democracy, and good governance. And this is at the core of recently negotiated trade agreements, but also will be at the core of the, let's say, post-Cotonou, which is the new legal basis for our cooperation, which is currently being negotiated. The same goes for the recently adopted EU-Africa Alliance for Sustainable Development and Jobs, that was launched by President Juncker in September 2018. Through the EU-Africa Alliance, we see a lot of opportunities for cooperatives in Europe and in Africa to look for mutual interest, to collaborate with each other, to invest and engage in joint projects, and to flourish and contribute to the development and improved livelihoods. I will take this opportunity as I conclude my brief remarks to congratulate Rwanda's consistent engagement in becoming a knowledge-based middle-income economy. And this, I'm very happy to say, is very much linked to the commitment and the investment in the cooperatives movement to achieve its vision. So once again, I welcome all of you, especially those coming from, let's say, outside the country. And we're really happy to be here and to support, as European Union, this event. And I wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for sharing light on the EU contribution to this very important global movement. It is now my pleasure to invite our next speaker, which I think could qualify as a host, actually, Mr. Ariel Guarco. Besides being the president of the International Cooperative Alliance, which has invited all of us today and is co-hosting this event with the government of Rwanda, he's been the president, as I was mentioning, since 2017. Mr. Guarco is also the president of the Federation of Electric and Public Services Cooperatives of the province of Buenos Aires, FEDECOBA, since 2008. He's the president of the Cooperative Federation of the Argentine Republic since 2011. He's also a member of the International Cooperative Alliance's Global Board since 2013 and Deputy Vice President of the Cooperatives of the Americas since 2014. He has authored a book that some of you may have read called The Argentine Cooperative Movement, which is a hopeful look for cooperatives. He's now here as our guest, as the ICA president, and we are delighted to give you the floor, sir.
Señor Chapet Magomer, presidente de la región de África de la Alianza Cooperativa Internacional, honorable embajador Nicola Bellomo, de la Delegación de la Unión Europea en Rwanda, honorable Claudine Buera, ministra de Estado a cargo de la Planificación Económica, representante de los organismos internacionales, de los gobiernos que nos acompañan y de la sociedad civil, queridos cooperativistas presentes y autoridades representativas de las cooperativas de todo el mundo, y muy especialmente queridos cooperativistas representantes del cooperativismo africano y ruandés. Es para mí un honor y un orgullo dar la bienvenida a todos ustedes en representación del BOAR de la Alianza Cooperativa Internacional a esta Conferencia Internacional Cooperativas para el Desarrollo. Es, sin lugar a dudas, un momento histórico para el cooperativismo mundial. Estamos reunidos aquí, en África, por segunda vez en la historia, en una conferencia organizada por la Alianza Cooperativa Internacional, luego de aquella memorable conferencia celebrada en Ciudad del Cabo en el año 2013. Estamos reunidos aquí en Ruanda, más de 1.100 personas de 95 países de todo el mundo. La mitad de los países del mundo están presentes hoy aquí a través de sus representantes cooperativos. Este nivel de representatividad es muy difícil de alcanzar en cualquier tipo de evento, no solo en un evento cooperativo, sino en cualquier tipo de evento de carácter internacional. Nos hemos reunido aquí para escuchar el mensaje que el cooperativismo mundial y el cooperativismo africano particularmente tienen para expresar al mundo entero y para conocer más de cerca sus experiencias, para ampliar nuestras miradas e intercambiar saberes a fin de contribuir con un impacto cada vez mayor al desarrollo de nuestras comunidades y países. Nos hemos reunido para mostrar que hay otro camino posible para alcanzar el desarrollo, el camino de la solidaridad, de la cooperación, de la responsabilidad, de la participación, el camino de la democracia y del compromiso con nuestras comunidades, nuestras culturas y nuestro ambiente. Quiero decirlo enfáticamente desde el inicio de esta conferencia, de la grave crisis ambiental que se avecina, de acuerdo a lo que pronostican científicos de todo el mundo, solo se sale cooperando. De la desigualdad, de la pobreza, del hambre, de las migraciones forzadas, no se sale construyendo muros que aíslen a los países más desarrollados de los menos desarrollados. Se sale apostando por la fraternidad humana, se sale eligiendo y construyendo modelos económicos que pongan en el centro la dignidad de las personas. Eso somos las cooperativas, la fraternidad humana hecha empresa, la responsabilidad social hecha empresa, la economía centrada en la dignidad de cada una de las mujeres y hombres que forman parte de nuestras cooperativas enraizadas en sus comunidades. Debemos pensar el desarrollo a partir de la movilización de los recursos, de los saberes y de las culturas locales de manera sostenible, equitativa e inclusiva. Eso es el cooperativismo, construir economía desde la fuerza y la sabiduría de la gente y pensando en la gente. Por eso estoy muy feliz de que los cooperativistas de todo el mundo, de todos los continentes representados en la Alianza Cooperativa Internacional, hayamos elegido África y Ruanda en particular para debatir sobre el desarrollo. Esta es la primera vez que el movimiento cooperativo se reúne en una conferencia exclusivamente enfocada en el desarrollo y particularmente en cómo las cooperativas contribuyen a los objetivos del desarrollo sostenible. Hemos elegido realizarla en el corazón de África, en un país que después de la tragedia del genocidio hace 25 años, se ha movilizado para restablecer la convivencia pacífica y ser un modelo de desarrollo sostenible. Hoy, la humanidad debe construir nuevos caminos para el desarrollo y debe pensarlo desde los territorios donde son más urgentes las necesidades básicas y donde más golpea la pobreza. El mundo exige un cambio de paradigma. Estamos convencidos que desde aquí, desde este continente, el cooperativismo enviará un mensaje potente, un mensaje comprometido y convincente para todos los hombres y mujeres que están buscando en todo el mundo nuevos caminos para el desarrollo. Muchas veces hemos escuchado decir que el desarrollo es el otro nombre de la paz. No hay paz sin desarrollo, ni desarrollo sin paz. Ya hemos visto las consecuencias de la competencia extrema por determinados recursos. El desarrollo económico es sinónimo de paz solo si se fundamenta en la cooperación entre los pueblos. Hoy podemos celebrar esta conferencia en una nación en paz, con esperanza en el futuro y un formidable proceso de desarrollo al cual han contribuido con gran esfuerzo las casi 10.000 cooperativas con 4 millones de miembros que forman parte de la economía de este país. Por eso el rol de las cooperativas ha sido y sigue siendo fundamental, dando impulso al crecimiento económico, favoreciendo el acceso a la educación y a la salud de la población y promoviendo el empoderamiento de las mujeres. Tenemos gran interés en conocer y aprender de la experiencia del pueblo ruandés y del trabajo realizado por el gobierno en pos del desarrollo de las cooperativas de Ruanda. Estamos seguros que será sumamente provechoso para nuestro debate, para nuestra búsqueda de nuevos horizontes y nuevos caminos hacia el desarrollo sostenible. Uno de los ejes que hemos incorporado en esta conferencia es precisamente la paz, entendida como paz positiva, donde las comunidades crean las condiciones necesarias para evitar los conflictos y poder alcanzarla. También estaremos debatiendo las contribuciones de las cooperativas a la igualdad y la sostenibilidad, objetivos que están interrelacionados e íntimamente vinculados con el camino que elegimos para desarrollarnos. Un camino que requiere de un fuerte protagonismo de las formas cooperativas para construir economía. El principal debate científico, cultural y político que debemos dar como movimiento es que las cooperativas no solo aportan al desarrollo sostenible, sino que son fundamentales para alcanzarlo. Los nuevos caminos del desarrollo que clama el mundo exigen pensar bien en las distintas formas de hacer empresa, porque determinadas formas empresarias, centradas en el lucro, nos trajeron a esta situación de desigualdad y crisis climática. No habrá desarrollo sostenible si no contamos con un fuerte sector empresario con control democrático, cuyo principal objetivo sea servir a la comunidad. Eso es lo que debatimos recientemente en la Organización Internacional del Trabajo en ocasión de su centenario. Coincidimos con la OIT, en especial con el informe preparado por la Comisión Mundial sobre el Futuro del Trabajo, cuando señalaba que hay un problema de gobernanza en las empresas para poder garantizar un futuro con trabajo decente y sostenible. La ASI participó en junio de este año en una conferencia internacional del trabajo, donde logró que las cooperativas fueran mencionadas en su declaración final. Allí les dijimos a los empresarios, gobiernos y sindicalistas que nosotros somos precisamente empresas con una gobernanza alternativa, empresas capaces de pensar en el largo plazo, de incorporar las necesidades de los trabajadores, los consumidores y los pequeños productores, precisamente porque estamos gobernados democráticamente por trabajadores, consumidores y pequeños productores. Como dije en el evento conjunto de la ASI y la OIT sobre el futuro del trabajo el 24 de junio de este año, es imprescindible facilitar el financiamiento de las cooperativas y promover un sistema financiero que, en vez de privilegiar la rentabilidad de corto plazo, privilegie las necesidades del desarrollo sostenible. Porque el modelo cooperativo es fundamental hacia el camino del desarrollo sostenible y en este camino debemos ser cada vez más innovadores, tal como lo venimos haciendo desde hace 175 años. Debemos demostrar que no solo tenemos un gran presente, con una alianza cooperativa internacional que crece y se fortalece, y es la voz de más de 1.200 millones de miembros en todo el mundo, sino que fundamentalmente tenemos un gran futuro, porque somos capaces de dar las mejores respuestas, las que reflejan más fielmente las aspiraciones de nuestras comunidades y las que más valoran los recursos naturales, económicos, sociales y culturales. Tenemos excelentes propuestas para superar las desigualdades y crear trabajo decente, para empoderar a las mujeres e involucrar a la juventud, para construir una nueva economía global a través de cadenas de valor éticas e inclusivas, para contribuir a la seguridad y soberanía alimentaria, para cambiar la matriz energética y reducir la huella de carbono, para pensar las viviendas con criterios sostenibles y para poner las finanzas al servicio del desarrollo sostenible. Nuestra agenda ha sido y es la agenda del desarrollo sostenible. Por eso hoy nuestros objetivos coinciden con los 17 ODS y con cada una de las 170 metas. Pero no nos debe conformar con que nos reconozcan nuestros aportes a esos objetivos. Debemos alcanzarlos. Y para ello hay que cambiar el modelo de desarrollo, apostando por la solidaridad y la cooperación. Este es el firme mensaje que deseamos hacer llegar desde Rwanda, desde África, al mundo entero. Somos cooperativas para el desarrollo sostenible, construido desde las raíces, desde la participación de la comunidad, desde el respeto a las diferencias. No hay futuro sin cooperación. No hay desarrollo sostenible si no elegimos modelos empresarios que pongan en el centro la dignidad de las personas. Bienvenidos al debate, bienvenidos al intercambio de experiencias y fundamentalmente bienvenidos al apasionante desafío de ser protagonistas de un movimiento cooperativo que está dispuesto a mostrar al mundo que existe un camino para alcanzar el desarrollo con igualdad y con paz. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guarco, for this very important call to action. For some of us who are less familiar with Spanish, maybe I'll provide a short summary. Mr. Guarco, as the ICA president, has given us a very strong call to action. He's highlighted the importance of cooperatives as an alternative type of enterprise based on democratic governance and people's dignity. I think he's really shown the difference between what is the classical mode of enterprise management and the value added of cooperatives in providing an alternative type of management for our modern enterprises. He's also reminded us about the importance of peace for development and also development for peace, and that we cannot have one without the other. He's reminded us of the role of cooperatives in long-term sustainable development, emphasizing the long-term bit, which is often forgotten in classical companies or enterprises, and emphasizing sustainable as part of the long-term agenda. And then he's also talked about the role of the youth for the future of cooperatives. One way of keeping the cooperative movement alive and strong is to enroll the youth to understand what are the different dynamics that are key to the cooperative movement. At the beginning of his speech, he talked about the example of Rwanda and learning and sharing some of the Rwandan experience with this particular group of participants and of movers of the cooperative movement. I think we have the pleasure today to have the Minister of State in charge of economic planning, Dr. Claudine Ouera. She is our Minister of State in charge of economic planning in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. In her role currently, she coordinates the national planning agenda for the country. As you can imagine, the cooperatives have a very strong role into this. Previously, before joining Minecofin, Dr. Ouera was a coordinator of the Natural Capital Accounting NCA program, which is basically looking at systems of environmental economic accounting. As you see, the theme of sustainability keeps coming back in everything that we do. She has substantial experience working on strategic planning with a focus on green economy and environmental valuation. She's been teaching at the University of Rwanda, specifically in the School of Economics, for more than 10 years. So she's an economist, as you can see, with a specialization in environmental economics. She's done her PhD in Sweden and has gained vast experience in these fields. So Dr. Ouera, it is our pleasure to have you today to share with us the Rwandan experience.
Thank you, Moderator.
Honorable Ministers here present, representative of international and regional organizations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, good morning. On behalf of the government of Rwanda, I'm pleased and honored to welcome all to this year's International Cooperative Alliance Global Conference, an event which Rwanda is proud to host for the first time and only second time in Africa. Allow me to welcome all of you to this land of Thousand Hill, and I wish you a pleasant stay. International Cooperative Alliance Global Conference presents a good medium for all stakeholders to discuss for the development, organization, and growth of the cooperative movement. It's also an opportunity for members cooperative to network and form alliance leading to mutual benefits. We do expect that all participants will make good use of this conference so that we can better shape a bright future for the cooperative movement, hence contributing toward a more equitable and sustainable world. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, cooperatives are by their very nature a means by which social business and the enterprises are created. Cooperatives are catalysts for social inclusiveness, economic growth, and sustainable development. Our collective global experience has shown that the sustainability of those enterprises contributes to poverty alleviation through job creation and improved access to financial services. I must emphasize that cooperatives contribute significantly to the economic growth of a country. Cooperative movement is only one of the dimensions that can be used to evaluate cooperative enterprises. And it's just one of the many aspects of sustainable development, which has been a key theme in recent years. In fact, since the end of the 1980s, the theme of integrating economic development, management, and the protection of natural resources, as well as social equity and inclusion, has been at the center of global cooperation. Whilst cooperatives are essential in realizing public policies and strategies, it's important to equally focus on the challenge of sustainable development, whereby cooperatives can and must play a key role by expanding into new and innovative areas. Today, cooperative movement is seen as a conduct with values and principles of mutual support, self-responsibility, equality, equity, and solidarity. Cooperatives are increasingly valued for bringing community together, and it's indeed encouraging to see the cooperative movement in Africa making good progress and contributing to the economic well-being of the citizens of our continent. In Rwanda, as a part of the reconstitution strategy after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, the government of Rwanda has placed significant effort in strengthening the cooperative movement in close collaboration with the developing partners and NGOs. In 2005, the government of Rwanda set up a task force on cooperative promotion, which is dedicated to facilitate the establishment of an enabling legal environment for the development of cooperatives. This eventually led to the establishment of the Rwanda Cooperative Agency, which in 2010 assisted cooperatives to create their umbrella organization known as the National Cooperative Confederation of Rwanda. Today, we have over 9,000 cooperatives with a share capital of approximately 45 billion Rwandan francs in various sectors, which among others include agriculture, mining, trading, housing, fishing transformation, and services. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen,
The theme of this year's conference, Laying the Foundation of a Peaceful Future, Cooperatives for Sustainable Development, presents a golden opportunity for the global cooperative movement to release on their role towards supporting a more sustainable and inclusive development. Additionally, this conference is envisioned to work as a forum centered on sharing knowledge and best practices, highlighting challenges, charting avenue to address observable challenges, and to explore emerging trends towards sustainable and inclusive development. This is pertinent since the development of cooperative is both this region, in both this region and in Africa in general, is still hindered by the lack of research in cooperative sector, limited usage of technology, and weak economic integration of cooperative. Nonetheless, this conference presents an important avenue to tackle various issues, highlighting the contribution of cooperative to the economic development, especially for Africa countries, whereby SMEs represent 90% of business and 60% of employment. It is therefore imperative to seize the moment and fully utilize this conference as a mechanism to mitigate existing challenges and improve the cooperative movement spectrum to a level where it becomes sustainable with strong apex cooperative organization and better working environment. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, achieving private sector-led growth will mean removing the constraints currently impeding the cooperative movement. It's therefore important to emphasize the need for cooperatives to integrate the social, economic, political, and environment aspects within the dimension of a cooperative model. It's hoped that cooperatives will play a more active role in the realization of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. With this, allow me to take this opportunity and congratulate the International Cooperative Alliance and all parties who contributed towards organizing this conference. I also wish to thank the numerous partners who have provided technical and financial support to the Cooperative Alliance to host this conference. Allow me to once again extend my warm welcome to our guests here present and to wish you all fruitful deliberation throughout this conference. I look forward to obtaining implementable outcomes which will hopefully result in a stronger and more vibrant cooperative movement. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for accepting to be our guest of honor today. I think this brings us to the fruitful end of the first part of our opening session. We're now going to take a short break to allow us to digest and understand better some of these key messages that we've received during this opening session. During the break, there will be a group photo. The protocol team will show you where the photo will take place. There's an exhibition downstairs, which will be going along with coffee. And you are most welcome to join the coffee break downstairs and take a bit of time to enjoy the exhibition. For the group photo, we will have ministers, PSs, the board of ICA, Director General, and the ambassador of the EU and key members of the EU delegation. So these will be in the group photo. We're inviting our high panel to kindly step down and go to the group photo. It's here? Oh, sorry. I'm told the group photo is here. Apologies. So I think we'll start with the group photo. Let me call upon all the ministers from the different countries. Vos Excellences les ministres des pays différents, vous êtes bienvenus pour la photo de groupe. The photo will take place on stage. For those of you going to the coffee break, let us be back in 30 minutes. But let us first kindly keep your seats, and we first take the picture, and then we'll go for the coffee break all together. Thank you.